Solarpunk, one of my favorite fusions of art and politics. Solarpunk is everything from a positive imagining of our collective futures to actually creating it. It derives its name from the cyberpunk genre and all the other punks it has spawned. Real quick, there's steampunk, which focuses on the Industrial Revolution and steam-powered tech. It's one of the most popular after cyberpunk. There's dieselpunk, focused on the designs of the interwar period. There's atompunk, focused on atomic power. Steelpunk, focused on late 20th century hardware. Stonepunk, which is Neolithic, and there's even nowpunk, which is set today. Solarpunk is a shining vision of a positive future, grounded in our existing world that emphasizes the need for environmental sustainability, self-governance, and social justice. It looks beyond the limitations of capitalism and beyond the current rift between humanity and nature. It's a futurism that focuses on what we should hope for rather than on what we should avoid. Solarpunk recognizes that climate change, the consequences of centuries of damage, aren't averted in the future, yet it still manages to incorporate hope. A future where we've got a lot of work to do, but we're doing better, using technology for more uplifting ends, like seed bombing drones and solar ovens. Solarpunk emphasizes real-world application. It's all about what we do here and now, from DIY projects to larger organization. Solarpunk is also very aesthetic, as I'm sure you've realized. It uses a lot of nature motifs and takes inspiration from Art Nouveau, upcycling, and Asian and African styles and artistic movements. Side note though, let me talk real quick about what isn't Solarpunk. It isn't slapping flowers and trees on concrete buildings or steel skyscrapers with some green on it. That's greenwashing. It has the appearance of sustainability. It's actually really damaging to the environment. A lot of water is used to maintain those quote-unquote green buildings, and they often aren't built with sustainable or durable material. Don't get mad, my guy. In the short time it has been conceived of, Solarpunk has found a place in contemporary media. It's a literary genre after all, but it has been retroactively assigned to other things since the term was really popularized in 2014. Solarpunk, for example, includes films like Miyazaki's Princess Mononoke, or literature like Starhawk's The Fifth Sacred Thing. Cyberpunk might be grim and depressing, exploring a world of unchecked corporate power, but Solarpunk rejects it entirely. It emphasizes collective living and the fulfillment of both nature and humanity in a mutually beneficial relationship. Solarpunk to him is the only alternative to denial or despair. It rejects the individualistic, unsustainable approaches of some futurists who refuse to acknowledge the limits of energy on Earth. Solarpunk is about ingenuity, generativity, independence, and community. It's suffixed by punk because it opposes our existing world. It creates local resilience, authorities be damned, from rooftop solar to guerrilla gardening. Although Solarpunk never had a particular political ideology assigned to it, it's been embraced by liberatory ideologies of all flavors, from social ecologists to positive anarchists to green socialists. The philosophy of Solarpunk and the politics of anarchism are practically built for each other. Anarchism emphasizes personal freedom and collective liberation from hierarchies, authoritarianism, and exploitation. It seeks, as an ongoing project, common ownership, voluntary cooperation, horizontal organization, and mutual aid. It explores the possibilities of liberatory technology, localization of production, an end to destructive and wasteful consumption, and a reorientation of our relationship with society, work, nature, and ourselves. It all sounds pretty gooey and feel good, but I want to briefly address those that have lost hope in a better world. We're stuck thinking that this, largely, is the best that we can do. This idea in politics these days that imagination has no place in our quote-unquote pragmatic, no-nonsense world. Which is just false. Humans are flexible creatures capable of a whole range of social arrangement. If everyone limited themselves to the confines of what is, we wouldn't be where we are today. It's time to take some steps forward, with a variety of tactics in hand. One of which is art. Art has tremendous influence on us. Music, books, paintings, TV shows, movies, etc. They shape our ideas of what humanity is and what humanity can be. While there have been many major examples of solarpunk art and entertainment yet, I think we can change that. There are interesting stories to be explored and debates to be had through art. Imagine a novel that explores the different sides that I mentioned, the debate on meat consumption in a solarpunk world. Or a comic that follows the community's journey as it seeks to rewild and resuscitate the surrounding ecology. Or, picture this. Maybe alongside a game that imagines a horrifying endgame that maintains capitalism, like Cyberpunk 2077, we imagine an uplifting, yet still challenging game that exercises our ability to balance the needs of our local ecosystem and deal with the difficult decisions and conflicts that arise as we reorient our place in the world. Could call it Solarpunk 2033 or something. There's a free idea right there. There's so many ways to incorporate Solarpunk in your life and in your movements. More to the point, Solarpunk is truly something you could put into reality and practice and spread.